Welcome back to Keep Talking Jordan, where I just keep talking about stuff that we want to talk about. This episode is brought to you by AJ and I because we don't have a sponsor yet, but we're looking. Let's hop right into it. Explosive episode, huge outcome, and I think the number one question in my DMs, in the comments, and in my inbox is, did I make a deal? I'll tell you right now, no, I didn't make a deal. But I knew and I could see the way everything was shaping up, right? So when we're sitting up there, I'm on a little run, and it's era 2 and only Anissa. I think it was only Anissa. I think Anissa either was the last one or one of two left with era 1. So I knew as long as I can get Anissa out, as long as Anissa can get out, well, I knew it was going to be a tough decision because Anissa is Tori's best friend and also ride or dies. So we have a lot there. That's an ally for us. We don't want to turn this early in the game. But then I'm also looking at era 2, and I actually have more allies on era 2 with Cara and I getting along with Laurel over there. Bananas and I, we kind of always, play the middle of the road until we have to choose a side. And Aviv and I getting close. So really just era 2 had a lot more people on their squad that I felt more comfortable with. Also, era 2 can, in my opinion, can do more for us later in the game, right? I.e. win and protect us. So once Anissa got dropped, I was like, well, this is pretty easy. It does not matter if I win or lose. So I was able to kind of go rogue, or kind of go wild man in trivia because I don't know if you guys could see the shift, but like when you're up there and when you're put on the spot in trivia, a lot of these questions, like, yeah, you know them, but do you know them when you're being hung, from umpteen feet up in the sky and you're going to slam, also knowing that 3 people have been carted off already in front of you. It's a lot harder to come up with that answer. And also there's a pressure of, if I don't come up with this answer, I'll get thrown in. That pressure was lifted from me, so I could kind of like slang from the hip. And if you guys saw, I was laughing. I was having fun. So I was just kind of in flow and ended up coming back. Back to the real question. Did I make a deal? I did not. Guys, I'm looking at you right in the eyes. I did not make a deal. I knew that I would be safe if Laurel was a target because Laurel would never let Bananas say my name. So to that, I was like, cool, let's just play this game. Laurel also knew that I would never say her name. So we were literally both just playing this thing out with no worries, knowing that we were going to be fine. So no, I didn't make a deal. I truly did not know Cheyenne's name. I should, right? You got Corey standing right there. You got Devin right there. And I've also heard them talk about the season in which they were partners. I truly do not watch enough to know that it was from this season. That's why this trivia was so bad for me because I don't watch enough to know, like, oh, that happened on this season. You know who was amazing at that? Kylan. There is this new wave of player coming in that knows what to expect and knows to be prepared, right? And I think Kylan is kind of like the forefront of this. So there were people up there that were slanging these answers, but it's also like who gets what question at what time. A lot of luck up there. I truly didn't know Cheyenne. And then politically, I think this was a super strong move for me because this is early in the game. You guys have heard me say this before. When it's early, don't get your hands dirty if you don't need to. This is why I think Tony really screwed the pooch here because, like, just because you got put in, you were being chosen from only a select few people. If we win, if we continue to win, we don't put our own team in. We don't have to put ourselves in. Tony was the only reason Tony got sent in. And I think if he comes back, when it's early, let's take Tony out of this. When it's early, you just do what it takes to get back into the house and you reset because day to day, attitudes change. Alliances change day to day because alliances a lot of times are based on friendships. And people get in fights all the time, right? One day they're best friends for a month. The next day something happened and they hate each other. You know how it goes with brothers and sisters when you live with roommates, things like that. It can switch on a dime. So just get back in the house and play the game at hand. Number one thing, don't rock the boat. So for me, I can't make Tori mad by putting Anissa in. I won't screw over the Era 2, the couple of people I have in Era 2. I can't screw that up because they're arguably my best competitors. And that matters because to save you, someone has to have power. All right? So I thought that was huge political prowess there. I got a shout out from Paulie, which I thought that was pretty dope because that dude is always politicking. And for him to kind of see what I was doing there, I appreciate that. So aside from the political prowess, the amazing moves, can we just for a second, I'm going to toot my own horn here. Yo, I was a savage. I stood on trivia business, all right? Should have never, ever gotten that many questions right. Came through. All right, we got to get into, this is, I think most of this recap is literally just thoughts on this, and we could do an entire episode on this elimination as a case study. Super cool elimination. I thought the elimination was very creative. I thought the art department did a wonderful job. Games, everyone, awesome game. I literally, whenever I saw this game, I immediately saw where they took it from. Right, it's jacks. When you bounce the ball and you scoop up jacks and you got to catch the ball again. I was like, oh my God, I can literally see this thing being turned from tiny game to big game. So I thought that was very cool. Good on the art department there. Let's talk about the biggest controversy is they finished the round and Derrick did not have all of his jacks put in the holes. Right, Horacio did. When they give us rules. Okay, when you get to a challenge or elimination, TJ does this whole explaining, and then we stop down and we all come into a huddle and we get rules. And this is videotaped, not for you, obviously, not for us, obviously, but to cover their butts, and that they get us agreeing to these rules on camera, all fine and dandy. Now, when you're in elimination, only the competitors get those rules, and they've kind of started intentionally doing them away from the group, so we don't really know what to argue, right, as the peanut gallery. So what we do know, we learn when they go and do the rules and they get all their equipment, safety equipment, things like that put on, and then they are kind of like released back into like the playing area, and immediately the popcorn gallery, we start, or the peanut gallery, whatever, the gallery that you eat stuff and yell, we start asking questions. Yo, can you do this? Can you do that? Because we're trying to strategize. So I would do this. I would maybe go that way. Whatever we're trying to strategize. And then we ask, what do you have to do? What do you have to do? I guarantee you not one of us said, hey, do you have to put your pegs in the board or just on the board? No one in their right mind asked that question because it's so obvious. No one would ask that question. There's a board there with holes in it. Those holes are the exact same shapes as all the pegs that these little jacks are. It is obvious. Put your peg in the board, in the hole it goes in. There is 40 slots. There are 40 pegs. Put them in the slots. How would you even think that, oh, one could fall out and it'll be held up by the others? That's not, nobody planned for that and had that in a rule. The rule is, and I cannot tell you what the rule is because only Horacio and Derrick can tell you what the rule is. And Horacio says that they told him to put it in. Anissa says that they told her to put it in. Derrick is the only one who's saying that they said put it on. Jenny said put it in. Anissa fell, hit her board, knocked some of them off, and they had to sit there and put them back in. You had to put them back in. Why would they make her do that? Because why wouldn't they let her just stack them on top? They said, no, put them back in your board. Same thing with Derrick. He fell into his board, had to put him back in. Some interference that I didn't like for Anissa and for Derrick. They both fell into their boards. They knocked some of their jacks out. They were helped, put them back in. Some pegs fell out of the other boards. They weren't helped. They just got notified, hey, those fell out, so put them back in. I think, Anissa lost and got that help. Derrick won and got that help. So I don't know if it really makes a difference. I just think it kind of should be noted. I thought it should be noted for sure. So it's a bang finish, right? Boom. The horn blows, and we're all sitting there like, oh my God, what happened? It took them so long to come up with a winner. That's why I'm like, all right, what are we trying to do here? Why are we taking so long on this? But a lot of factors, a lot of things go into this. I'm sure they're looking at all the camera angles. But, there was an issue with one of the games in the middle of the round, and Horacio's ball got stuck. And TJ goes to blow the horn, and the horn just goes, doesn't blow. Literally smoke comes out of it, doesn't blow. And so Derrick doesn't stop. Horacio's sitting there like, yo. And Derrick is still picking his stuff up. This ball is probably stopped for 10 seconds. That's a full run, basically. So Derrick probably has time to pick up two, maybe three jacks if it was a fast run. Then Horacio kind of bumps the apparatus, gets the ball moving again, and continues playing. That was never made right. So if we were really looking at the whole thing to make it right, take those two off the board that Derrick got to pick up while Horacio was standing there. There's a dispute about the rules. It all smells bad. Who won? I don't know. I think that it's Challenge 3. It's actually Challenge 2 trivia, right? We're calling it the Eras Invitational, Challenge 1, Challenge 2, because Challenge 1 and Challenge 2, we actually have the targets and everything in play. So it's, 2 challenges deep, 1 invitational, and Era 1 is getting a wake-up call that this is not All-Stars. It's different. This is very different. I did All-Stars, but I was told beforehand that it was something different. This is easier, it's lighter, and now it is spawned into something much bigger than what it was. So this is the franchise. This is where we take things very seriously. We take competing seriously, and I think Era 1, it's a little bit different here than in All-Stars. I think that we're a little more cutthroat. I think in All-Stars, people are just happy to be there. They're stoked that they got a call and get to come back and do this really awesome thing. Whereas on the franchise show, it's a bunch of killers. That's why there's 40. It's why, you got the world champ. Huge implications. I mean, you see, we're thinking like, oh, it doesn't really matter that much. And you don't think Horacio being a target is going to mean much, but huge swing. Era 4 losing Horacio. That was kind of like their golden boy, right? He was the one. Horacio was the one that was linking Kyland to these older players and the vets, and that's kind of who got us introduced. So I think without Horacio being there to kind of chaperone some of these things, it'll be interesting. Pauly was arguably their most seasoned of the vets out of Era 4. So he was your liaison, right? He's the most seasoned liaison, Pauly was. Horacio is going to probably be your next, holding the most respect with some of the older guys. He's gone. So you are now really getting down. You got Josh, who depends on what day it is, if he's in good favor with the house. And, Kylan. And he's new. And he's good. And people are going to be coming for him. So huge implications after this one. And whole new set of targets now. Thank you guys for being here with me. This was Keep Talking Jordan, and I'm gonna keep pumping these out. Hit me up. I'll be on the lives when the episode goes live, usually with the West Coast. I show love, and we'll keep putting these out, and look out for the next video coming out this week. Guys, keep hitting me up on the lives and drop all of your questions in the comments below, because that's where we pull all of our content for the next weeks. So thank you guys very much for following along. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.